So we bought a new tow vehicle, a new dinghy to tow behind the bus, and we had a Jeep Liberty before this for 10 years that worked out pretty well. And it was time to get a new car, so my wife would drive the Jeep Liberty to and from work, and that was also our dinghy for the bus. And we liked it because it had four-wheel drive, and we go to places where we go to the beach and we have the opportunity to four-wheel drive on the beach or whatever. And we use it in the wintertime in the snow and whatever we needed. So it was a pretty versatile vehicle. Anyway, we went in to get a new Jeep Renegade, and we found out right before we signed on the dotted line that they aren't towable in the automatic version four-wheel drive. And so that was going to be her new car, and I was anxious to get it because it was 1,000 pounds lighter or so than the Liberty. And so we got enticed into buying this little Willys version of the Wrangler that you know, is a special edition for the 2015 and I think a couple other years. And you know, I really like it, but my wife's not that wild about it, so now it's my car and she's driving the other car, and I just sort of play with it. So for the Liberty, we had this bracket that we had made, and what we did was we took off the tow hooks in the front of the Liberty, and there's a base plate on each one that we reinforced. On the other side of the frame, we put a steel plate to lengthen the amount of surface area that was in contact with the frame, or what parts of the frame that they have on a Liberty. And I made this out of simple angle iron, and it bolted to the original plates for the tow hooks, which turned out to be flat right straight across. So I just bolted this flat thing to it and reinforced those plates, and that was it. We towed it all over the place. So now for the Liberty, we're going to try to take these two pieces of steel, just regular old angle iron, you know, 10 bucks worth of steel, and we're going to try to modify it to make it into the plate that we want for the Wrangler. The Wrangler, you can buy tow bars or tow plates, base plates, from Blue Ox and Roadmaster and whatnot, and they're nice and they're great and whatnot, but I think they're too obtrusive. They require you to cut the wind dam, which is removed right now, and I'm not wild about that, so I'm hoping that my design will allow me to have the wind dam hide the tow bracket when it's not in use and allow the wind dam just to be removed. It's only 6 little clips that just come right out. So the Blue Ox bar uses 3 holes on each side, and it uses the main 2 holes that are in the cross member bracket, and then you drill another hole through the upper 2 holes in the cross member bracket and drill another hole in the frame. And you know, that's okay, I guess that works. But the Roadmaster uses the holes in the lower part of this cross member and then also attaches to the cross member at another place somewhere toward the center. So we're going to see what we can do to modify this steel that we have and make it into a tow bracket for our Wrangler. Okay, so the first step of the process was to make these angle iron brackets that are going to bolt onto the existing bracket that ties this cross member together. So we cut them off at 7 1/4 inches, and we have that one clipped on that side. You know, this one taped on. I had it clipped, but I wanted to be able to see if the wind dam would fit. So the wind dam does fit, but I do have to trim this corner off that's closest to us. But right now it's looking pretty good. It all lines up straight, and we're going to cut off our cross piece here in a minute, and that'll be the next step. This is the mock-up we have with most of our pieces made. The goal really was to be able to put the wind dam back underneath it here and have all this stuff hidden so that you couldn't see it, and we were going to remove the wind dam whenever we needed to tow and just put it back on. It clips on and clips off pretty easily. But in the end, it turns out that, you know, there's so much space needed for the bolt heads and whatnot that it doesn't look like that's going to be possible in the end. Anyway, so we'll see on the next step. But our pieces are mostly made now. I had to make a spacer in here with out of a 1/4 inch thick piece of metal because the bolt heads in the back were banging up against the frame, and it's coming along. But I have to say, I didn't think it was going to take me nearly as long to fabricate this as it did, and might have just been better to buy one, but we'll see. Anyway, that's the progress. I wanted to wrap this up with a final video about how this turned out, and so here's what the final product looks like. We added the little bracket there for the safety chains, and everything's bolted together, as you can see, with grade 8 bolts and lock nuts, so that, you know, if anything comes loose, it won't fall apart. And then there's one thing that I need to add to this that I haven't said before, was that I added this bracket here that attaches to the front of the bumper. There are 4 bolts that attach the bumper to the frame, and to keep this from shifting back and forth and give it a little more strength, and I got this idea from another manufacturer yet, so I took ideas from 3 different manufacturers. So in addition to this first bracket that you see here, which was going to be the original bracket, behind that is another one, and it bolts up in the corner there to the front bumper bracket and keeps the thing from shifting back and forth under stress. So that is the final product, and you'll see it with the wind dam on here in a second. So this is the wind dam. We have our holes trimmed out here. We had to trim off a little bit here on the edge because it does move the thing forward. It doesn't fit up quite as tightly as it did in the original version, but it does fit. So hold on, I'll show you.